Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 242. Before we get into our article tonight about dirty-ass Alan Dershowitz, I highly recommend that you folks check out the documentary Valley Uprising. It's about the history of climbing in Yosemite National Park, and it is absolutely epic. It goes through the whole entire history from how things evolved from Camp 4 in the beginning all the way up to people like Alex Honnold climbing in recent memory. So if you're into those kind of documentaries about nature and the outdoors, I can't recommend it enough. It's such a good documentary. All right, so to the topic at hand. Alan Dershowitz, Dirty D, Mr. I kept my underpants on himself, thinks it's a good idea to write an opinion piece in Spectator defending Ghislaine Maxwell. This guy is an absolute and utter disgrace. I don't trust a word he says, and Mr. Dershowitz, guess what? You're such a big believer in the First Amendment, huh? Well, here's me using my First Amendment right. I don't believe you, I think you're lying, and I think you're trying to cover up your involvement. And I'm not alone. Anybody who is researching this case or following this case understands what sort of man you are. And sir, you are not a good person in my opinion. In fact, you're a devious, disgusting, twisted old man. And your unhinged behavior as of late, well, it's all starting to make a lot of sense now. It's making a lot of sense why you wanted access to those documents in the Ghislaine Maxwell and Virginia Roberts defamation suit. It is making a whole lot of sense now. What's in there about you, sir? What sort of explosive information is going to come out of that documentation? I can't wait to see your response when that occurs. Our article is from Deadline, and the headline is, Alan Dershowitz writes essay defending longtime Jeffrey Epstein associate, co-conspirator, fellow child molester, fellow abuser, Ghislaine Maxwell, assails Netflix documentary allegations. The author of this piece is Tom Tapp. Alan Dershowitz, who defended Jeffrey Epstein against charges that he had serially abused young girls in 2008, has written an essay in The Spectator defending Epstein's one-time girlfriend, co-conspirator, fellow molester, abuser, etc., Ghislaine Maxwell, who was arrested on Thursday and charged with 6 counts related to the trafficking of underage girls, including transportation of a minor with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. It's still surreal almost to read that, right? Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested? Is this real life? Did I fall asleep? Is this some sort of dream? Did somebody slip some roofies into my drink? Or are we actually seeing the wheels of justice start to turn here, folks? Like every other arrested person, writes Dershowitz, she must be presumed innocent. Well, look. In the eyes of the court, she must be presumed innocent for sure. But the public's always going to have an opinion. That's how it works, Mr. Dershowitz. What are you going to sue? Everybody who has an opinion about you or your decrepit, gross-ass friend, Ghislaine Maxwell? You're going to be in for a long fight, sir. Here's the best idea yet. You want to end all of it? You want to end the speculation? You want to end the scrutiny? You want to shut fat yaps like mine? Give a statement under oath. What are you so scared of? The lawyer then spent most of the rest of the essay assailing Netflix for its recent multi-part documentary, Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich, in which one of Epstein's most prominent accusers says Dershowitz abused her multiple times while she was under Epstein's control. Point blank period. Virginia broadsided him. I dare her to say that on this program, and okay, she said it again. Now what, old Dirty D? What exactly is it you're going to do? Sue her again? Your song is getting old. Your dance is getting tired. And everybody is sick of listening to your lies and your excuses. You have provided no evidence for the assertions that you have made. All you have done is threaten to sue people, to try and avoid people from criticizing you. Well, guess what? That's not how it works in America, okay? Just like you said, Mr. Dirty D, you love that First Amendment. Well, so do I. And in my opinion, you, my friend, are guilty. So the onus is on you and your friend Ghislaine Maxwell to prove otherwise at this point. Because you see, we have put together a body of evidence on our own. And circumstantially, the evidence that has been out there for the public to see, well, it was scattered for a very long time. People really couldn't make heads or tails of it. And that's exactly how you and the other bipedal serpents that you ran with wanted it. Have your scuzzbag friends in the legacy media run puff pieces. Oh, the incredibly cool Mr. Epstein. Have you running around on all these different platforms. Meanwhile, they'd write one story about the situation, just scratch the surface, and then never come back to provide context. But at the same time, they would let you run your mouth for years. And now that the narrative has been stolen from you, Mr. Dirty D, and that your accusers have done an end around legacy media, you do not know how to react. First, it was having your little fit in the court where Preska spanked you and told you to stop. And now, well, you're being unhinged all over the internet. It is not a good look for you, sir. And in fact, people are starting to ask a whole lot of questions. Dershowitz has for weeks been assailing. Here's one of the tweets he posted. If you want the truth about the false accusations against me, read my book, Guilt by Accusation, which is free on Kindle. It puts the lie to Netflix's deeply flawed presentation. This guy is the master of spin. Nobody will deny that you're good in the courtroom there, sir. Nobody's going to deny that you know how to navigate public opinion, that you know how to navigate these talk shows, that you have enough pull and sway that you still get the ability and the offer to have a platform and write an opinion piece in an outlet like Spectator. But at the end of the day, all of your platitudes, all of your fancy word structuring, all of your loophole navigating is not going to save you from the truth this time, Mr. Dershowitz. She claimed to have sex with me on 6 or 7 occasions, writes Dershowitz in The Spectator, although she had previously admitted in her own words that she never met me or even heard of me. And obviously he's talking about Virginia here. Dirty D. Dershowitz has confirmed he jetted to Epstein's private island where sex trafficking allegedly took place, but only once. He says he was accompanied on that trip by his wife and daughter. And again, how many times do these sickos, do these dirty mofos bring up their children and their wives as if that is a quality alibi to mar your wife and your daughter's name or your family's name in this whole entire sordid ordeal? A real man looks to protect his family from shit like this. A real man never brings his wife or his child into something like this. But I guess when we're dealing with a guy like Dirty Dershy, well, real man doesn't really fit the bill, huh? And here's a tweet from him. That's a lie. My wife and daughter were with me the one time I flew to the island, years before Roberts met Epstein, and years before he was suspected of wrongdoing. Show me a flight log that has me going to the island without my wife. You can't, because there isn't any. Well, that's fine and well, but we know that only 1/3 of the flight logs have ever been filed. We know that only one pilot filed flight logs, 1/3 of them. So that means 2/3 of them are where? Never created, missing, nobody knows. But Mr. Dershy Dersh, that might work on the unsullied. That might work on those who have not been paying attention. But to the rest of us who have been following the case and who understand what you're trying to do here, that is not going to work. That is not a plausible defense, sir. Try again. As for Maxwell, Dirty D, I kept my underpants on Dershowitz writes in his essay that he never saw her do anything untoward and assumed she was simply Epstein's girlfriend. Boy, plausible deniability at its best. Do you ever say anything, Mr. Dirty Diesel, that doesn't come off as disgusting? Because, my friend, from my position here in my home studio, nice and comfortable in my pajama pants, oh boy, you look like an absolute fool and an absolute moron. I don't know how somebody who's supposedly so smart can look and act so stupid. My wife and I were introduced to Ghislaine Maxwell by Sir Evelyn and Lady Linda's Rothschild. Well, does that shock anybody? Because, you know, the Rothschilds are such an upstanding family, right? There's nothing wrong with the Rothschilds. They really care about the world, and they care about everybody in it. Meanwhile, predatory loans coming by the boatload. And we subsequently met her on several occasions. Generally in the presence, now listen to this. This is very important with these people and very important with Dershowitz especially. He name drops all of these people that are supposedly great people it's supposed to give us comfort that you were there with these people. Sorry, Dirty D, that's not going to cut it. Generally in the presence of prominent people such as Bill and Hillary Clinton, right off the bat, those are the first two names you drop, huh? The first two names you drop are Bill and Hillary Clinton. Because they're just pillars of the community, huh? Never mind the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell's nephew, Alexander Dershowitz, worked for the State Department. And didn't Ghislaine Maxwell have passports? I wonder if Alexander Dershowitz had anything to do with those. Did Hillary Clinton's State Department provide those passports? These are questions that need to be answered. And Mr. Dershowitz, you throwing Hillary and Bill out there? Well, we know what that means. Focus on them, not me. I'm a magician. Look what's in my left hand. Don't pay attention to the right. Well, Dirty Dershowitz, I've seen this trick before. I'm from New York. I know how sleight of hand works, and you're not going to pull one over on me or the legions of other people that are onto your shtick. Nobel Prize winning scientists. Oh, you mean guys like, the academics who were involved in the sex trafficking of Virginia and other girls? The sick bastards that were enabling Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah, you're just really, really, really building your case here and your defense, because all of these people are unassailable. They're all of unassailable character, and you can't question any of their morals. Is this guy for real? He might as well be like, well, you can't say that, I was in the presence of El Chapo and Gas Pipe Casso while I was at this party, so, what's up? We're good, right? Basically the same thing, bringing up Bill and Hillary, and then these sick academics. Presidents of universities, president of Harvard maybe, president of MIT, more sick fellow travelers, more enablers. This is not a good look. This will work with people who have no idea about the case, with the unsullied, but those are becoming far and few between, and you see why Dirty D is on the full assault. We never saw her do anything inappropriate. We knew her only as Jeffrey Epstein's 30-something girlfriend. Later, however, Dershowitz negotiated a controversial plea deal for Epstein in Palm Beach County that shielded the billionaire, pedophile, from federal prosecution in 2008. Epstein pleaded guilty to a state charge, one of two, of procuring for prostitution a girl below the age of 18, and he was sentenced to 18 months in prison. The deal also shielded Maxwell. Well, that's all fine and well. It only shielded them from those crimes. What about the other crimes that have never been looked into? What about the other crimes that they've never been charged with? All the financial crimes as well. Because remember, at the end of the day, the goal is to put these people in prison for the rest of their lives. However we get there at this point, I am fine with. Let it be financial crimes if that's the case. 400 years of financial crimes is fine with me. All that matters is these people go to jail. They go to prison. Because that's where they all belong. Ghislaine and the rest of them. 1 year ago, Epstein was rearrested after a cache of explicit photos of girls was allegedly found in his home. The financier, pedophile, was charged with sex trafficking and sex trafficking conspiracy and faced a combined maximum sentence of up to 45 years in prison. Before he could be tried, Epstein hanged himself in his jail cell. Allegedly. At the time, the New York Times said the arrest deepened questions about why federal prosecutors in Miami had cut a deal that shielded him from federal prosecution in 2008. Today, ever the defense lawyer, Dershowitz, Mr. I kept my underpants on, urged readers of the Spectator to keep an open mind about Maxwell. Zero chance. An open mind? Nope, sorry. I have all the evidence I need. What's going to be different in court? What could you possibly present in court that's going to strike down the personal testimony of all of these survivors? Nothing. You can provide nothing to back up your claims, while there are tons of accusers. This isn't a he said, she said, as much as Mr. Dershowitz would want it to be. This is a whole bunch of them said, you did it. And the only people that you can bring up as character witnesses or as witnesses of your behavior are fellow travelers who are also embroiled in this scandal? I am sorry, Dirty D. It is unacceptable. We won't believe you. We don't believe you. And if this is going to be your line of defense, boy, oh boy, my friend, you are in for a long, painful battle. Because as soon as those documents are released from that defamation case and people get a full glimpse of what you are accused of, oh, my friend, I highly doubt you're going to find so many willing platforms to host your nonsense. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. Inside of the description box, you will find all relevant links. All right, everybody, I hope you all have a fantastic night, and I'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again.